decade with podcast excellence. This is the final MJ and the Boys of 2019. You lucky bastards.
Hello. I don't know where I'm at because I'm so old now. 2020. Me and Neil were sitting at the kitchen table smoking. He was like, is that real?
Yeah, we're living in the future. Almost every single dystopian movie from the 80s that
we have passed them
we've
all.
passed the date that they said that they took place in. So
yeah, we passed the original Blade Runner this past year.
Back to the Future a long time ago.
Back to the Future a long time ago. Escape from New York was in 1997.
And L.A.
Yeah, 97 and 2001, I think, is when those are, or 2012.
So that's
yeah,
right.
we're way beyond.
2012, we're past that.
Yeah, 2012.
You guys,
the calendar did not end.
Yeah, that's right. We made it through a lot. Yeah, we made
Stupid
it through a lot.
Aztecs.
Yeah, don't know what you're talking about.
Asshole Tex. Do you guys have a good? Did you guys have a good holiday? Did you get what you want? Santa Claus come visit? All that good stuff.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
I felt bad, even though you seemed like you enjoyed the gift that I gave you last week.
Oh my God. I wore my sticky socks to work.
Oh, yeah?
Oh my God. Everybody. And my shoes, ironically,
I don't wear my sticky socks to work.
They started
They
hurting.
stay under the bed.
So I took my shoes off towards the end of my shift, and all the kids I work with kept going, man, I love those socks.
Oh,
yeah, because you look so douchey.
Man,
you know
who's
what I'm
that
saying?
old guy?
You pick it's his young douchey headshot picture. They're great. No, I love them.
They didn't look like socks though. They looked like cloth tubes. Were they comfortable?
Yeah, they're fine. I mean, they fit a little strange, but no, they're socks.
Well,
they're fine.
I felt a little bit bad because I didn't continue on our tradition of me giving you an autographed.
I was disappointed.
An 8x10 glossy of a famous. So I brought you one. Here you go.
Oh God, I've never even heard of them, and I love it.
What are you talking about? Read the autograph. It took me all week to get it signed for you.
Oh my God.
What?
It says, MJ, keep working hard and you could end up like us, Limp Bizkit. Even though it's a band called Edema. Is that how you pronounce it?
No, that's Limp Bizkit.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's...
Edema is one of their albums.
No, it's not. I know Limp Bizkit. Ironically enough, it's like you know me, I've been rocking out to break stuff lately, like constantly.
That's not Limp Bizkit?
No, that's adorable. Where's Fred? Where's a red baseball hat? I mean, they look douchey.
That was when they were young. That was their debut record.
Okay.
Before he found the baseball cap.
Well, Edema. I think the same. It's
the same guy.
The message is the same. Keep working hard. You can end up like Edema.
Oh my God, I love it.
I like that they just signed the autograph Limp Bizkit though.
Yeah,
I mean that's
as a band, as a collective.
Right.
Sticky, you're the best. Thank you.
So there was that. Well, we decided to do something special for our end of the decade show. We decided to do a decade in review. We've done year in reviews over the past few shows, but we're gonna look back at the past 10 years in pop culture.
Yeah, and there's some controversy whether this is actually the end of the decade or not.
I know.
And it irritates me because it doesn't make any sense for 2020 to be the last year of the 2010s. Because people are saying the decade doesn't end until it turns over to 2021. And that's stupid.
Has it ever been that way? Like in 1990, like when we go,
Because if people say
argument.
it that way, then 2000 is part of the 90s and 1990 is part of the 80s. And that's just not the way it is.
It's never been that way.
So are 20-year-olds still teenagers?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way I'm looking at it. Come on, man.
I don't even understand the argument.
I know there was no year zero and all that kind of stuff, but there was a year, BC. So come on.
Some things happened in year zero, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a stupid argument, but I just wanted to bring it up because somebody will get pedantic on our Facebook page. Decade doesn't end until December 20.
Decade ends now. It's back to 2020.
So the things on our list go from 2010
to 2019
to January 31st, 2019.
Prince didn't party like
December
it was
31st.
Oh, that's what I meant.
It'd be weird to cut out February through December, but
Prince didn't party like it was 1999/2000 to 2001.
Okay, so something, if it came out in 2009, it doesn't make our list.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. Awesome. Now we're not doing this big 5 style. We're just going to run through our list because there's too many to put on our top.
And our tastes are varied, so we would never be able to come to a consensus, I don't think, on anything.
Yeah. Well, we'll discuss as we go along. All right. So let's start. We're going to start with music. And Sean, you're admittedly, you're the expert with music. We all love music a lot, and we have various. But as Neil and I both get older, as the senior members of the group, neither one of us are really into any kind of new music too much. And
it's true, man. I was looking at my rock and roll library. Everything's from 2000.
Yeah, I think the last thing you liked came out was the "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" soundtrack in 2000.
That is true.
So why don't you give us your list of and then we'll hear from MJ after that of your, and I've got a couple actually of your best your favorite music from the past 10 years.
All right. Well, I made list of 10 because it's impossible to cut down below 10 for a decade-long list. So, Fratelli's album, they released multiples. Yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you feel like, don't just rush through them. If you want to expound on any, feel free.
And I have a mix of hip hop, rock, country, and
the Fratellis is Irish punk rock.
The Fratellis are a Scottish rock band.
Yeah. Okay.
And they had an album called "We Need Medicine" back around I think 2014 or 15 that I still play it a lot today. So if you ever need some bouncy dance rock, you just want to bounce around the house, Fratelli's "We Need Medicine's a great record.
Okay.
Staying in the same vein, the Libertines' "Anthems for Doomed Youth" was a comeback record. They went away for like 15 years and then came back and released this record and stepped right back into what they were doing, which was mid-2000s Clash imitations.
Oh, right on.
So I dug that. Rhiannon Giddens, or Rhiannon, I don't know how to pronounce her name. She was in a band called Carolina Chocolate Drops. She's a banjo player and singer. She does folk country music. Amazing voice. Amazing album called Freedom Highway.
Okay, so she's got a solo album, Freedom Highway.
Yeah, Freedom Highway, Rhiannon Giddens.
I like the Carolina Chocolate Drops. That's a good name.
Yeah, and they're a little bluegrass band from, I think, North Carolina. Pistol Annie's Interstate Gospel just came out 2 years ago. 3 stars in their own right from country music got together, made their third record. Again, country music. It's kind of the punk rock of today, I guess.
They're not the ones who did the replay of the Highwaymen. They're not the Highwaywomen, are they?
No, that band's just called the Highwomen.
I don't know how I feel about the Highwaywomen because I listened to that song and at first I was like, this is god awful.
Yeah, but then it sticks in your head.
And then it was like, well, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, I think it might be god awful. I don't know how I feel about the Highwaywomen. I'm kind of split on them. But
they're good. Let's see. Low Cut Connie released a double record called Dirty Pictures Parts 1 and 2.
It's on my list.
I couldn't split them. Parts 1 and 2 made the list.
Okay.
Just from this year, the Pixies came back with an album called Beneath the Eyrie. Old school Pixies record, unlike the last few that they did when they reunited. Indie Cindy was a shit record, and there was another one that was okay, but this one is back to form. Great songs. I think I played one back when we were still playing music. I played one. Let's see. Travis Meadows, a drug-addicted former preacher, country music guy. He writes for a lot of country music people, but he wrote a song or an album while he was in rehab about going through rehab, and it's heavy as fuck. But it's really, really good songwriting. So that made it. And the top 2, hard to separate them. One from hip hop, one from whatever he does. A Tribe Called Quest, we got it from here. Thank You for Your Service is just, it's the last Tribe album because Phife Dawg has passed away since then, and I don't think they'll ever make an album without him. And it's just, it was a reactionary record kind of to the Trump campaign. They came back right when they needed to and have since faded back away, and that's great. That's a great thing.
I remember you playing that when it came out, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
It's a banging record, not just the solo or the single "We the People," but the whole record is just front to back. It just kicks ass. And Sturgill Simpson, A Sailor's Guide to Earth from about 4 years ago. Kind of out of the blue. Not really country, not really rock, not really anything. He had the horn section from Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings play on it. He just kind of defies classification. Local guy from here in Kentucky. Made maybe the best album of the decade, maybe the second best album of the decade. I can't separate the top 2. Sturgill Simpson, A Sailor's Guide to Earth. If you don't have either one of those records, you're doing yourself a disservice. Go out and get them now. Use your gift cards to buy them.
MJ, what do you think?
I agree with pretty much, all of. I went a different route. I went with just artists that came out.
Okay.
You know, I didn't break down records
Yeah.
like, you know,
Right.
Because I mean that
Who
would
buys
be,
records?
well, no, that would be impossible. Like I feel like I
do.
mean a lot of like Sean's list. You know, there were a lot of artists that came out with some amazing albums over the past 10 years. You know, like so I just went with artists that formed in the past
Okay.
10 years that I just love.
I went through my music.
That's what I
library
did, too.
when I was making this, and I've bought over 250 albums in the past
Holy
10
smokes!
years.
Yeah.
You're putting these kids through a college. Good for you, Sean.
Yeah. All right. So mine are again artists. So Run the Jewels. I love Run the Jewels. They're on their third. They're working on their fourth album. They've all been fire. Lizzo. Love Lizzo. Oh my God. I love Lizzo. Sturgill. Now I know Sturgill was in Sunday Valley. Sturgill's been playing music for longer than the past 10 years, but Sturgill, solo Sturgill, the Sturgill that album that Sean
Yeah.
was talking about, that's a new kind of revamped Sturgill. You know, it's so
And
I kind of consider that.
Any of his 4 out, I think he's got 4. Meta Modern Sounds, Sailor's Guide to Earth, and this last one that he put out, which is called Sound and Fury. Any of them could have made the best albums
Yeah.
of the decade, but Sailor's Guide is the one that hit me.
Yes, it's and then again Chris Stapleton. I know he was in. I can't remember his band's name. If it was, I think it was Steel Drivers. Or, I think that was his.
I think that's right. Yeah.
But again, solo Chris Stapleton. So that's. I just want to clarify so people aren't like Chris Stapleton's been playing music for like a long time. Like I know I'm talking about like their solo new kind of vamp stuff. Low Cut Connie. All their albums are great. Sean turned me on to Low Cut Connie. My life has never been the same. If you do not have Low Cut Connie, get Hi Honey. I think that's a good album to start with because it's just from front to back fire.
It's kind of where they hit their stride. Yeah.
It's amazing.
What now? Compare Low Cut Connie to some
You can't.
band that I would have heard.
You can't. That album, Hi Honey.
Well, what kind
none
of music is
it's
it?
all over.
It's just rock and roll.
If you put that album on, you let it play. I've had people come up numerous times and go, "Who's this?"
Yeah.
And then a few songs go by and they'll go, "Who's this?" And I'm like, "It's the same album. It's
Right.
still Low Cut Connie." And they're like, "Really?" Because I mean, they're just
If Jerry Lee Lewis fucked the Replacements and had a kid,
Okay.
it would be Low Cut.
I'm pretty sure he did fuck one of them.
Yeah, but all of them.
The cousin.
Yeah, all of the Replacements.
Okay.
you.
So
would-
it's-
That still makes it hard to understand, but
Everyone.
that's amazing. That sounds awesome.
It's bar rock, kind of like the Replacements records, but with a piano
These
player up to
motherfuckers-
Jerry Lee Lewis
These
quality. yeah.
motherfuckers haul a piano with them to
Yeah.
places like the Green Lantern. You know what I'm saying? A fucking piano, so he can like
Not
just-
keyboards, but an
No,
actual
an
an
piano.
actual
an
fucking
upright
piano.
piano,
yeah.
He
Awesome.
the show is amazing. The
Shonda.
music is amazing.
It's got a name. It's called Shonda.
Shonda.
The piano's name is Shonda?
Yeah.
So Low Cut Connie.
Sounds awesome.
Must check it out. Childish Gambino.
Oh, right on.
I,
Yeah, he's
I
great.
really
Yeah.
Childish Gambino's good. He's
He made top song.
Yeah.
1 or 2 in top songs of the decade.
I have played him in the Quiet Storm, so
That's awesome because
Really?
he doesn't
That's
get
about my
enough
only
play.
music reference.
He does
Right on.
not get enough play. He just doesn't.
well, his talent is he started in Community on
Yeah.
before he got big, and he was doing comedic television, and that show was just awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
the
was
first
really
few
good.
seasons
The
of that
first
show
few
were
seasons
great.
were great.
Yeah. Oh, he was a great comedian before he even started going into the music aspect, and he's got another great show called Atlanta, and that's supposed to be critically acclaimed.
Atlanta.
I haven't watched it, but
You haven't? Oh,
No, I haven't.
motherfucker.
well, I was
I've got it on
It's
my
looking-
watch list.
Well, from the time you said, 10 years, looking at the past 10 years and stuff, I was looking at the TV lists of
Jesus,
like
there's so much.
TV. I looked at TV Guide's top 25, and then I looked at Rolling Stone's top 50. There's only 6 shows that even made either one of them for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at the most.
I mean,
6.
I gotta say, my favorite shows that are. I made a long list, and none of them are probably gonna be on that list of top. Well, we'll get to that. I want to hear the rest of MJ's.
American Pickers,
Atlanta.
Pawn Stars.
No. And then, so those are my favorite artists that emerged within the past 10 years. I did do one, I think it's the best video that was released in the past 10 years. I might go so far as to say, this is the best video in the history of videos.
Wow,
Like,
that's
you'll
saying a
never
lot.
find a better video. Don't even try, Sean. Don't even try.
What video? This is America?
Is
No.
it OK Go? Because they're the ones who make the great videos.
No, you guys aren't even close.
Peter Gabriel Sledgehammer?
ICP Miracles.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, right, right. Is that from this decade?
Yeah, it is. I checked. It is. Those cocksuckers are that
Wow,
dumb
man.
within the past 10 years. Oh, God. Yet
You know,
again.
that begs the question. Magnets.
Right.
How the fuck do they
work? So they bring up a lot of really just like intense questions and statements like scientists be lying to us and shit. So it's awful, but watch it.
I'm not familiar with that video, but
Oh, it's so bad.
having read about these Juggalo festivals that happen, they're actually decent people, and it's really
No, they're just
they
nerds.
are.
They're
Yeah,
just big nerds.
they have a bad reputation that is undeserved.
And that's the truth. That is absolutely
It's like
true.
comic books in the 1950s. You know, I mean,
No, that was deserved.
I'll say I grew up as a wrestling fan, so their wrestling ability
Yeah.
was horrible. These guys couldn't wrestle at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So that's your
when they-
that's your problem with the Juggalos is they can't not their
they
music.
can't. I've tried to avoid their music just because I don't want to waste the time
You're
trying to analyze.
Fine ignoring their music.
Oh yeah,
But the Juggalo culture,
Yeah.
the group of people that go to visit their
Yeah.
festivals and concerts and stuff, they're good people.
It's
It's
so
really
yeah.
bizarre because they look horrifying.
They're
Yeah.
not all good people.
Yeah, but
Well,
no,
that's
no
with-
group.
that's with
no
anybody,
group
right,
is.
exactly,
Yeah, you can go to a Pearl Jam show and find some cocksucker there.
Yeah.
Let's
that's
see.
not
You,
gonna
usually.
The whole
Shut
Juggalo
your
thing
face.
just reminds me of the Joker movie now. When I see
Oh,
people,
right.
you know, like they just can't wait to beat up
I
a
thought
cop
that's
and
what-
anarchy in the streets or on the trains or
Yeah.
whatever.
That's what
Right.
happened at the end of the Joker movie. He went to a Juggalo convention, right?
I think so.
That's what it was.
Oh my God.
See, you guys are falling into the trap of pigeonholing the Juggalos into
Yeah.
Joker clowns, and
Well,
that's not
Terrible.
what they are, man.
It's terrible.
Well, okay, they're
And Sean
so they're
knows his
they-
clowns. He was
they're-
a hobo
They're
clown his
rappers
whole
that
life.
really aren't very good rappers,
Yes.
and they had wrestling careers, and they
Yes.
Yeah.
were
Were bad,
horrible
yes.
wrestlers.
But
Horrible.
they have a very dedicated fan base that just will spend their last dime
I mean,
on them because they just
There-
love
there's
them.
they do a music festival like somewhere in mid Ohio, which is where Juggalo culture is apparently at
Yeah,
its
the
peak.
Midwest, of course.
And it's not just that music. They had.
Oh God, who did they have?
It was so bizarre. They had such a
it was
weird,
an
like an
old,
old
Earth,
school
Wind, and
R&B
Fire style.
group.
Yeah, it was like old. Either way, all right,
And
we
they're
digress.
just inclusive.
What is your list?
Okay, my list is of two.
Okay.
Cage the Elephant.
Oh,
I
yeah,
forgot.
KG Elephant. But you know what? My problem with KG Elephant, I didn't put them on my list, or else it would have been a list of three. And the reason is because KG Elephant's first record, when did that come out? Maybe that does fit.
Well, I don't
think
know
it
when
came
their
out
first
more than
record
10
came out.
years ago.
Oh, right. You guys put. They had a debut in the past decade.
Right.
That was your.
So here's the problem. My problem with KG Elephant is
yeah.
they stopped being a rock band. They're like an indie whiner crybaby band.
Ooh, I might like them even more now.
Yeah, you would like them
I
more.
love
I
indie
mean,
whiny crybaby
They're-
bands.
Listen, there's
Shout
they
out
still
to
have some
Iron
good
and
songs
Wine.
and whatnot. I'm just saying the first two records were punk rock. They were hardcore. They were badass start to finish. And now they're much more in line with what's going on the radio with like indie rock, which is not my cup of meat.
Okay.
Okay, so I still like KG Elephant. I respect them. If they come to town, I'll go see them probably. But what they've done recently is, for me, not as good as what they did when they were young.
I've never had a cup of meat, so
Yes, well, they're not my cup of meat. So, so the number two on my list is the Interrupters. They have 3 albums out that came out in 2014. Second album came out in 2016 called Say It Out Loud. And then the album I like is called Actually, those are all both good albums. The one I really like is called Fight the Good Fight, and that came out in 2018. They're punk, ska. I think the Fight the Good Fight was produced by the guy from Rancid, and their music is very rancid-ulent, so I like them. Number one is the 2018 remaster of Pearl Jam's Versus. No, I'm joking. But any of those remasters work. Number one for me is a band called I don't know how you say it because it's spelled the Stripes, but I think it might be the Strips.
Oh, really? See, I think there might be one more that you've forgotten.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead and with your strip.
The
Stripes.
Monkees Christmas album, because that was pretty good.
Greta Van Fleet.
Oh, Greta Van
Damn
Fleet.
it,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are great. They should absolutely be on the list. Yes.
I did enjoy that Greta
Yeah.
Van Fleet album a lot, but after they got so hyped up, I sort of fell off their bandwagon a little bit. But I really like that Greta Van Fleet album. The Strips They're a band from Ireland. They formed in 2010. They broke up last year. You would probably recognize them as if you saw the Elton John movie. They played his backup band in the movie. But they are old school 1960s sounding, like The Who, like garage rock. And like English garage rock. They're so badass. They've got 3 albums out, Snapshot, Little Victories, and Spitting Image. All 3 of them are absolutely amazing. It's bluesy, it's rock, it's punk, it's like pre-punk punk, like New York Dolls, The Who, that type of thing, MC5 maybe. Just, God, I just fucking love them so much. And it's spelled Strypes. So I think it's the Stripes, but maybe it's the Strips. Whatever. My Alexa says the Strips. So...
Okay.
So I'm down with that. So, and I know you like them too, right, Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are. I'm not as into them as you, which is surprising. Well, I love my European punk.
You got
bands,
that covered with the Libertines and
the Fratellis.
Exactly. Yeah. So you had enough of that, but that's what it was for me. So, all right. And Neil's favorite record came out in 1984.
Teddy Pendergrass.
So we're moving on to television. Who wants to go first? Let's hear from Neil because he didn't get to talk about music very much.
Okay,
right on.
Yeah. Well, let's see. It's kind of a split between most of my stuff from the last decade has been on HBO, but I'll break down the other stuff first.
Okay.
Community was a great show. Donald Glover, Childish Gambino was on it. 30 Rock, that was a great show, very funny. Tracy Jordan and all that.
How old are those shows?
They were in the decade. They were in the first part of the decade.
Community, I think the whole series was
right?
in the 2010s.
My
I think
wife
30 Rock kind of bridged across.
My wife and I just watched all 7 seasons of 30 Rock on Hulu over the past 2 weeks. We almost binge watched it.
There's a lot of funny lines in that movie.
It jumped the shark in I think maybe season 5, but the first 3 or 4 seasons are really amazing.
Key and Peele, they did a lot of funny stuff this decade.
Yeah, Aaron.
Yeah. Yes, that whole deal was funny. Let's see, Sherlock Holmes, the Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh yeah, Sherlock. Yeah,
very great TV. And Victoria, that was on KET or something.
On PBS.
Yeah, I think it was PBS.
Yeah,
and
very
I think
good
it
show.
might be on Netflix.
Do you like Downtown Abbey too?
I did not. I wasn't a follower of the Abbey.
Okay.
Just couldn't jump into it, man.
You're not an Abbott.
No, I couldn't do it, man. But the shows I watched in the past decade were mostly on HBO, and they are as follows. Watchmen, this past. They set a new standard.
It's not
TV,
recency
man.
bias either. That
No.
shit's just great.
That was great cinema. Well, there was a scene that I wanted to bring up that we didn't talk about where somebody's eyes just morphed into the stained glass windows of the trial that
and the camera pulled out.
Yeah, that was awesome TV.
The cinematography, absolutely amazing. It zooms into the guy's eyes, which morphs into a stained glass, and then it zooms out, and it's a different setting from the stained glass window. It's just, and it was like that kind of shit all throughout the whole series. Yeah, it's great.
I didn't think I'd like it, but the new Pope, Jude Law, on that series, the first season was off the hook. I didn't think I would follow, following a Pope around and for a year or whatever.
Right.
But it was very
Especially
entertaining.
a sexy Pope like Jude Law.
Yeah, Jude. Well, he's very serious about his popeness, man.
Is that set in modern times?
Yes.
I haven't watched that.
It's very good TV. A lot of inter-Pope drama and with all the cardinals and stuff.
Does he get sexy? Does he take his clothes off?
No.
No nudity for Jude Law?
No. He's not an overly sexy Pope. He's just being under the robe sexy.
He's just painfully handsome.
So the altar boys aren't that attracted to
it was called The Leftovers on HBO. It was about what would happen if the rapture actually happened and all the survivors and what they would do. It was a very good series.
Really? I'm going to
Something
check
worth
that out.
It's very worth binge watching.
I started watching it. I watched part of season 1 and didn't get sucked in. I hear that the second and third seasons are just the bomb.
It picks up speed.
It took a season of
in
world
the second
setting.
and third
It's called The
seasons.
Leftovers?
Yeah,
Okay.
The Leftovers. And Game of Thrones was the decade. That was the show of the decade, hands down. And it progressed, well, besides the last season rushing through it so the guys could go right on Star Wars movies. That's exactly why.
Which they're not doing now.
Yeah, which they're not doing now. But it progressively got better as they added more, money to the budget, and the special effects were off the hook in the season before the last one.
Right on.
And that last season even had 2 great episodes.
Yeah, there were 2 great.
The one before the big battle and the big battle itself. If you could brighten your TV up a little bit.
Yeah, the battle at the battle with the Night King was a excellent war, but the accounting afterwards was a little off. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
MJ, you watch some TV past 10 years?
I do watch TV. I'm trying to.
WKRP, the Andy
Yeah,
Griffith
no.
Show, Jeopardy.
MASH is
The
off
local
the
news.
chain, man.
Oh, right. She just has antenna TV.
Bonanza.
What's the guy that she loves? The weirdo guy?
Oh, yeah.
That hosted
Sven Gulli.
Sven Gulli.
Yes, but I'm going with the last decade, and Svengooli's been out since like the 80s or some shit.
okay.
So
And he's still corny.
You can
yeah,
tell.
no, it's the best.
Campy corny.
And you can see every second that he's lived in
Yes,
his face.
I love it. But without that little costume, he looks like your average uncle
Yeah.
that just kind of chills and gives you $20, you know,
Yeah.
for Christmas.
He says
He's-
racist things off to the side.
No, no, not that uncle.
Sven
No,
Gulli's
he.
not.
You question.
No, he's the uncle you'd say he's just a little bit too old to still be goth.
He's
Just
adorable.
a little bit.
All right, so past decade, my favorite movies: The Walking Dead. They the seasons have been hit and miss, but I mean the show is great. I love it. So Walking Dead, Making a Murderer. That's the Netflix series. That was really good. It was kind of like a new age West Memphis 3, which was pretty cool.
Is that a documentary series?
Yeah, it's
or-
like a docu-series. There's
True
a lot.
crime.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good docu-series on there, but Making a Murder, I think, was the one that made most people had seen it and talked about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to go with, like, obscure shit. Mr. Robot. I love Mr. Robot. I have not finished this very last. It's the final season. I haven't had
Is
a
that
chance.
what is that animated?
No, Mr. Robot is like a computer
It's-
hacker guy. They're trying to take down the government.
It's
just
the dude who played Freddie Mercury,
he's so good. He's so hot. Rami.
Malek,
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And he's going to
Christian
be
Slater.
the new.
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to be the new bad guy in the 007 movie.
That's right. Yeah, he looks awesome
I have
in that.
Speaking of The Walking Dead, you got to throw a shout out to those guys because they've really gave a whole lot of new actors.
Yep.
Big starts. I
Yep.
mean, you take all the people that have died in The Walking Dead or where they are now.
Yep. That is
Negan.
true. That is true. They really have. They've definitely helped a lot of new actors that hadn't had major roles before, but it's great.
The first season of Mr. Robot is great, and that's the only one I've seen so far. I'm backlogged on that one.
Yeah, you'll love it. You'll love it. You'll absolutely love the rest of it. Mr. Robot is fantastic. Atlanta, we were talking about that earlier. You must watch Atlanta. It is such a good show because it's so good at being serious, but giving you enough comic relief because of how serious
Is
it
it dramatic? Because I've got it on my watch list, and I'm afraid to watch it. I'm afraid it's gonna make me sad.
No, it is dramatic, but I mean there's like an episode called Florida Man, where they think all the Florida stories are one Florida Man, and it's this whole thing
that's
where they're
good.
like, it's like an urban legend. They're like, Florida Man, have you heard of Florida Man?
Oh, right.
So there's enough, I mean, they show real shit that happens, in the inner city of Atlanta, but again, they also show that, that there is fun. Danny Glover's character's it's just fucking great. Neil, you need to watch it.
Okay.
Sean, you've already watched it, right?
No, I saw part of it. Danny Glover?
Donald Glover.
Okay,
I do it every time.
I didn't know.
No,
I
Donald.
thought
Oh,
Danny
I thought
Glover
Danny
might
Glover.
be in it.
Yeah, why
I mean,
not?
he
It could be the
very
dad
easily
or
be in it,
something.
yeah.
No, sorry. I do it every time I
He
talk
was in
about him.
Jumanji.
Yeah.
He was pretty
Yeah.
funny
No,
in
no,
that.
no. Now, my antenna TV show is Mom. That's a really good one. The Goldbergs is a hilarious show that's come out. I think it was 2013. It's so good. That's my only antenna ones. Then you've got Shameless. Shameless is fucking fantastic. Have anybody
No.
in here?
No.
Are you? God damn
But
it.
this is good. We're covering this is for our listeners.
Yeah.
They're getting-
I watched Blackish.
Blackish
That's
is-
one of
Hey,
them.
let me tell you
is
something
good.
about that documentary about SeaWorld called Blackfish,
Yes.
where it's like anti-SeaWorld.
Oh, yeah.
Every day I'm flipping around on my DirecTV and I'm like, Jesus, ABC really hates fucking SeaWorld. Because I'm looking at the guy, I'm like, why do they play Blackfish so much?
Oh my god,
Since when is it only half an hour long?
it's crazy. They're just splitting it up. Shameless. Everyone should watch it.
Wait, what?
It's got William H. Macy, I think.
Yeah,
In
okay.
it does have William
yeah.
H. Macy,
Okay.
and it's just the trashiest family from Southside Chicago you can imagine.
Okay, cool.
It is insane. Every time you're like, oh, they can't possibly like offend me and make me laugh any harder. Oh, they do.
Okay.
Oh my God, they do. Rick and Morty is another really good one. And finally, Trailer Park Boys. Now, Trailer Park Boys, I'm talking about the only reason it was able to make my list is it was a Showtime thing, a Canadian HBO show for like in the early 2000s, right? But then Netflix picked it back up.
They did a couple of seasons, didn't they?
Netflix, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Netflix is, I mean, they've got 10 seasons now, 10 seasons now. Not that's including the previous seasons on Showcase. But that's why I was able to bring, because I love Trailer Park Boys. I love it. So I was able to put it on my list because Netflix brought it back.
All right.
So it's technically a different show. It's not really.
And Rick and Morty, it's one that apparently I should love, but I just can't.
Have you watched?
I've tried, yeah. It
really?
doesn't.
You're
do
not high
anything for
enough,
me.
dude. You gotta get high.
Yeah, I think that's what
It
the
might
problem
be.
is.
It might
yeah.
be. Maybe that's it.
All right, I'll go next, and I looked it up while you guys were talking. 30 Rock came out in 2006, and Community started in 2009. By the way, 30 Rock definitely would be on my list, you know, for what it did in the 2010s. But Watchmen, absolutely. I love Tosh.0.
Was that within the past 10 years?
The Watchmen?
No, Tosh.0.
I think it started more than 10 years ago, but what he's done in the past 10 years has all been great.
That can't be.
Oh, that
I
doesn't
love
count?
Tosh.0
Okay.
just as much.
You've probably just been watching reruns
Oh
from.
my! I never miss a new Tosh.0. He's my favorite comedian.
I follow him on
I
Facebook
feel
because
like-
he's always posting like his little clips from the show because I
Yeah.
can't watch it as much as I used to and I miss it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm always watching it.
It started in 2009.
Oh, all
So
right.
you're
Good
good.
So we're
for
close
me.
to
Yeah,
that.
You're good.
he is so offensive and not offensive. It's just I don't know.
because he's offensive to everyone, including himself.
And he talks to people the way he would like the way we talk to each
Yeah.
other. You know, like we
Yeah.
fuck with each other or
Yeah.
whatever. And that's the way he talks to these freaky people. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
And himself included. I saw the other day where he was talking about how one of the famous hair plug people in LA that, was retiring.
Right.
And he was like, everyone's freaking. And then he had a picture of himself.
Yeah.
Almost bald in 2009 or whatever. And then, what he looked like right then with the hair plugs. And he's like, you're going to see a lot of us, balding Hollywood
right.
stars until we find a new hair plug professional.
When the California fires burned down everyone's house and they were all bitching and moaning about
Yeah.
it, he had a picture of his house burned to the ground
Yeah.
and made jokes about it.
Yep.
It's like he knows
Yeah.
that I love that
I
guy,
love
but
him
whatever.
too. Let's get going.
Neil, if you get a chance, you need to see Pennyworth.
Pennyworth.
Okay, that's Alfred. It's Alfred's gritty origin story. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely. I don't know how to put it. It's great. It is a great show, and it's got nothing to do with Batman or Gotham City. You know, Gotham's always like one of the quote unquote characters in the movies.
Yes.
They don't even mention Gotham. It's set in 1960s London. He is a badass former vet, a World War II vet or something, and he's a killer, and he's awesome. Alfred is fucking awesome. If you can find Pennyworth, watch Pennyworth. I also loved Legion, the X-Men.
Yeah, Neil.
I've told you about Pennyworth, Sean. Legion was an X-Men show. Very weird, hard to follow. I think you would like it if you're on drugs, MJ. Brockmire, I believe to be the funniest show, not of the past 10 years, but of all time. And that's on IFC. Marin, another IFC show that I loved a lot. I actually felt Marin's sort of like my hero because he got rich doing a podcast, Agent Carter, Marvel's Agent Carter, starring Haley Atwell. No more need to be said about that. Glow on Netflix was really good.
Oh, Glow was good. I forgot about Glow.
They're still making Glow. I think season 4 or whatever is coming out soon. Jessica Jones on Netflix was one of the better of those Marvel Netflix shows. Stranger Things, of course, on Netflix.
Damn it.
Yeah, Stranger Things is great. Here's one you guys probably don't watch. I've mentioned it just recently. Bear Grylls, Running Wild with Bear Grylls, where he takes celebrities out into the wilderness and puts them through hell, and it is awesome to watch. He's like Courtney Cox having to drink her own pee is hilarious.
She does that anyway.
Friday
No, she
night.
puts it on her face to keep her skin
no.
tight. Yeah, and it's so funny to see like who's a coward. Like The athletes, Deion Sanders, Shaquille O'Neal, Marshawn Lynch, cowards. But Kate Winslet, feet first into anything. He was like, you need to climb this mountain and jump across. She's like, I'll do it. It's great. Brie Larson, Captain Marvel was on it. She's great, man. It gives you respect for certain people, I think. Anyway, Running Wild with Bear Grylls. I also love Penn and Teller Fool Us.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That is a good show.
Yeah, and Penn and Teller is so great, and they're icons. But what I love most about that show is how they treat their contestants, the magicians, because they treat every single one of them with respect. They never were like, that trick sucked, or even like they never even like make jabs at them. They're always just like, you did a great job. Here's why we busted you or whatever. And I've learned a lot about magic too. By the way, I can go to a magic show and know what most things are going on, and it makes me feel cool. I love Penn and Teller, especially Teller. Barry on HBO. You like HBO shows? You should watch Barry. Why
the serial killer? He's a serial killer that starts an acting career, right?
Right, exactly.
You're like a website. If you like,
but
HBO
I do like
shows,
the Bill Hader is an excellent actor.
He's so
he's
cool.
very funny,
He's so
and his
cool.
impressions
So
are spot
likable.
on. Yeah,
so likable. Did you see that Trainwreck? That Amy Schumer movie? He was really,
no, I didn't because
really
I
good in
can't
that.
stand Amy Schumer.
I know that's the point I was trying to make.
I can't break the the shield of Amy Schumer.
I'm with
that
you.
I just cannot.
She's awful, and he is so cool that it makes that movie good. Seriously. Fargo had a TV show, which is great. And then number one for me, I did rank them.
Okay.
I don't know if that wasn't actually a ranking, but number one for me was Daredevil on Netflix. Dreams come true with that.
yeah.
You don't have to like superhero movies to like Daredevil. You just have to like crime dramas.
The reason I didn't mention any of the Marvel TV shows was because they didn't run long enough, and Netflix was so iffy about whether they were going to keep on Marvel shows and all that
Daredevil
kind of stuff.
got 3 seasons, didn't it?
Daredevil and Jessica Jones got 3. Yeah.
You had mentioned IFC, which reminded me, I forgot on my list one of my favorite shows at Portlandia.
Oh God, I hate Portlandia.
I love Portlandia. My ringtone is
Tried
the
so hard.
Portlandia theme song. Oh my God, dude, come on! They ask so many questions about the eggs and free range chicken. They end up leaving, going to a farm, joining a cult, marrying the guy, watching him die, and then going back to the restaurant, sitting down to eat, and then asking about something else.
I'll give it another
it's
chance.
Fucking great, dude! It's so fucking good.
No, I can't do
Join
it. Belle
the
watched
cult.
it. Belle watched it. I can't. Portlandia, I can't with.
Put a bird on it. Oh, you just.
All right, I'm putting this one. I think everything on my list is complete except for this last one, which I put at number 10 because they could fuck up the landing. Brockmire.
Oh.
Up until
No,
now.
Brockmire's finished, isn't it?
No, there's one more season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one more
Ooh, you got
season. I hear.
excited.
Best show of all time, I think.
I hear there's one more season. I don't know that for certain, but I think there's one more. So Brockmire at number 10. Number 9 is a show from Cinemax. If you like Cinemax, you'll love The Nick. It is. It's got Clive Owen in it. It's about the medical profession at the turn of the 19th century, 19 going into 20th century. So late 1800s, New York hospital. A lot of gross out stuff, but
I'll stop watching
Very, very
Cinemax when they
dramatic.
quit showing softcore porn.
there's some softcore porn in this.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I'll give it a shot then.
And it also has Matt Frewer for a part of the season.
Oh, awesome. I don't know who that is.
He's Max Headroom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not dead.
No, not dead. He's in everything. He's in. He was in
everything.
Walking Dead. He was in Walking Dead this year. Matt Frewer.
I haven't seen Walking Dead since the sheriff left town. So
So you haven't seen it since like season 1,
no,
episode 4.
Yeah, no. They
Too scary for me.
Since Negan got defeated and went to jail,
Oh,
then
okay.
everything went.
Oh,
down just the shark
spoilers.
after that.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah,
not
I'm
good
sorry I spoiled
It's
it
all
for
right.
everybody.
It's all right.
I don't know where it's gone from there.
anymore. Into disaster.
Yeah.
It's just it's shit now. Number 8, The Americans, which was an FX show set in the early 80s about Russian implants in American society.
Remember you talking about that?
Great show. Very.
FX does good stuff.
I don't want to say it's slow moving. It's not slow moving, but it's very tense, and you can't handle more than one episode at
That's
a time.
good.
It would be hard to binge watch that one just because you'd be so tense all the time.
Right.
It's great. It's a great spy show.
Legion was on FX, by the way.
From the other end of the spectrum, Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
Feel good. You just
I love
watch
Amy
it.
Poehler.
You
She's
watch it
funny.
and you feel happy.
And the cast is
Yeah,
very
the cast
good.
is bang on. Rob Lowe, Rashida Jones, Nick Offerman is brilliant.
Yeah, he's great. He was in Fargo season 2. Really great.
Yep. Game of Thrones. Neil's already spoken extensively of Game of Thrones. It probably should have been closer to the bottom of my top 10 just because it didn't stick the landing very well. But everything
they broke their legs in the last 4 episodes.
Everything leading up to it, it was just so brilliant that it had to be up there.
Yeah.
Justified.
Oh, God damn it.
Which,
my mom's favorite.
Such
another
a good show.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Another FX show about a Elmore Leonard character, Raylan Givens, who's a marshal from Kentucky, who gets sent back to Kentucky because he got into some.
Now, I haven't seen Justified, but I heard that they drive from Lexington to Eastern Kentucky in the show, and it takes them like 15 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, but you're just looking for...
It doesn't take them 50. They don't ever mention a time.
Oh, okay.
He's going to Harlan. It's an hour and a half.
All right.
So they're not going to show it in real fucking time, okay? One
They
scene, he's in
they
Lexington.
spent the whole show of him driving.
Just driving on Interstate 75 and then
Good
cutting
TV.
across the back roads. Yeah. Terriers only ran one season on FX. Donald Logue, Michael Raymond James. It's one of the saddest canceled too early shows ever. It's not, the show itself isn't sad. It's sad that it was
sad
canceled
that it got
so early.
canceled. Terriers?
Terriers.
It's about dogs?
Terrible name. It's not about dogs.
Oh.
It's about two low rent private detectives in a Southern California shit beach town.
You know, I think maybe the name had something to do with it.
It had everything to do with it. It had everything to do with it because it was fantastic. From the moment it started, it was great all the way through. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but if you can find it, you should watch it. It's only 10 episodes or 12 episodes.
But does it have a satisfying ending? You know what I tried to say, right?
It's got...
What did you say?
Satisfying is what I was trying to say.
It's got a satisfying ending that was left, but it was still open-ended for a second season. So
no, that's no good.
No, it is. You won't be disappointed with the way that it is.
Okay.
Black Sails, which was, I think, on Starz. It is a prequel to Treasure Island. It's telling the story of how Long John Silver got started with Captain Flint, and it leads almost all the way up to where Treasure Island would begin. And it's beautiful. It's pirates. It's ocean. It's lots of sex, nudity, lesbianism. Yeah, it's
my favorite.
It's
pillaging. Is there pillaging?
There's pillaging.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
It's one of the more woke shows
Oh.
out there, which is odd because it's set in the 1600s pirate culture.
Right.
So it's really good. Doctor Who is always going to make my list as long as it's running. I mean, they've had a couple of poorly written episodes.
Well, when you're on the air for 50 years,
Yeah.
some of them are going to be good and some are going to be bad.
Yeah, and I'm talking strictly the moderns since 2005.
Right?
I never really got into the previous ones. I've watched them on PBS. They used to show them when I was a kid. But the modern ones are just great. Great science fiction, silly but heavy at the same time. And number one, damn it, Canada, you got the number one show on my list, Letterkenny.
Oh.
Letterkenny is, I think it only came out about 2016, 17 was the first season. But they just released their 7th or 8th season on Christmas Day. And I think it released on Hulu on the 27th. And they're 6-7 episodes per season. You want to sit down and watch them all. Some of the dialogue and wordplay in it is just brilliant. It's one of those rapid fire.
Started in 2016.
2016. It's one of those rapid fire dialogue based shows.
Yeah.
There's not really much story. The story is kind of secondary to the interaction.
Yeah, the characters. It's
Yeah.
character based. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah,
It's really funny.
It's raunchy and funny, and I think a lot of people would be put off because they have a lot of fights, but it's just the Canadian redneck culture, the hit culture. So if you haven't watched Letterkenny, get on Hulu, watch it. I think all of it's available there now, and it's just I haven't laughed as hard at a show in a long time.
I forgot to mention The Boys on Amazon Prime,
yeah.
by the way, if you have that.
Honorable mention. I'll give that honorable mention.
Anybody got anything else, or should we move to movies?
We can move to movies.
Let's move to movies. I've got a long list of honorable mentions I'm going to zip through. Basically, Marvel Studios came out 10 years ago, so any Marvel movie that came out 10 years,
Except for Thor Ragnarok.
except for Ragnarok. Ugh. No, I'm just kidding.
Humor.
You
I
know,
watched that yesterday.
but of
It
the
is.
Marvel
I liked it.
movies, my favorites included the Black Panther and
Ant-Man.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Winter Soldier was my favorite of all time. Iron Man came out 2009, so that doesn't count.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Logan was a great one. Not an MCU movie, but as far as superhero movies go, it was really intense. I also liked, let's see, just some other just random movies. Black Klansman I thought was great. The Martian, Yesterday, the Beatles movie, Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stop Stopping, hilarious, and my sister was in it.
Yeah.
Didn't have a line, but they showed her like for 2 or 3 seconds on the full face. Grand Budapest Hotel. I don't know why I put that on here. I think I liked it.
I don't know why you put that on there.
I think I liked it.
I hate that fucking guy.
Infinity War. I think that's why I put it on there, just to annoy
Just
you.
to annoy me.
Yeah.
This is a little twee fucking movie.
Infinity War is another Marvel one. Oh, Coco and The Book of Life were 2 animated movies about the same thing. The Mexican Day of the Dead. Both equally good. I like Book of Life a little bit better, except that Channing Tatum was one of the lead characters, and he shouldn't be playing a Hispanic character ever for any reason, even animated.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for him,
I don't know that one.
man, it is really good. Did you like Coco?
Yeah, I loved Coco.
Okay. Book of Life is came out first, and I think it's better than Coco because in Book of Life the lead character actually dies in the beginning of the movie
Right.
and spends his most of the movie in the underworld or whatever, and Ice Cube is in it as a genie, or some sort of ghost. I don't know. So anyway, Book of Life is really good, but they're both very similar movies. What
Probably
else?
liked Ants better than Bug's Life too, didn't you?
Yeah, of course, obviously. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, classic.
That must have been, 2010? That must have been the very first
2010.
movie in
That's
the decade.
Right. So here's my top 5. I don't know why I did, but whatever. Mad Max, Fury Road, and that's your number 1, Sean. Number 4
Maybe.
was, I know it is. I know it's your favorite movie of all time, much less the past decade, but...
It's not quite there, but it's moving that way. Yeah.
Avengers, the original Avengers movie. Number 3 for me was Wolf of Wall Street. Martin Scorsese at his finest. I think his masterpiece, of course, was Goodfellas, but I think Wolf of Wall Street's equally good, almost equally good. Number 2, hot take, Hot Tub Time Machine.
Shit, that is a hot take.
Oh God, I love Hot Tub Time Machine. I'll watch it every single time it comes on.
That was a fun movie.
It's best uncut. The director's version is maybe a little over the top, but you can get the R-rated version, the theatrical release. Just hilarious. And number 1 for me was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I believe, animated or not, the best superhero movie ever made. Fight me.
Fair.
I don't give a fuck, you Batman.
I mean, don't ask me to fight you.
No, I wasn't speaking directly to you.
Okay.
Okay.
I would win.
I'm aware of that.
Who's next?
Not me.
Anybody? Not MJ. Neil?
I'd go with Sean or with Sticky on the Marvel movies, but let's see what else. Every 007 movie made this decade has been excellent. Daniel Craig has done a great job.
Sean said he was the
with,
best one.
I
He
think
might
so.
be my favorite
Oh,
Bond.
speaking-
Taking over for Sean Connery finally.
I don't want to interrupt, but
Yeah.
I meant to tell you I saw Daniel Craig movie yesterday.
Oh God, did you see Knives Out?
Knives Out.
Oh, fucking brilliant.
It's great.
Yeah, I
it's a
loved it.
great movie.
It
What are you seeing movies and not telling me?
what? Because I just saw it this week. What? I don't check in with you
Yes.
every time I see him.
Okay, first of all, you need to stop doing that. You see a movie, you better check in with me. Second of all, Knives Out was great. Daniel Craig does this weird Kentucky accent or something the whole time.
Yeah, he's a southern,
it's very-
southern detective.
It's very disconcerting. I mean, it took me like an hour to get used to it.
It's a very broad, like his name should be Beauregard.
Yeah, right. Like he's like a 1920s Kentucky guy, like a colonel. But other than that, it was really, really good
No, and it's Ryan Johnson. It's the dude that everybody hates now because he did
of Last Jedi.
Last Jedi. Which,
I think he redeemed himself. Although I think,
spoiler, Last Jedi is on my top 10 list.
by the way, I think Last Jedi history is going to prove that it was the best of those 3.
Yes.
You know, forget all the man babies who made poor Ryan Johnson, lose his mind or whatever. But it was star-studded. The commercial says it's the greatest murder mystery ever. It is not that. It's not. But it is a thoroughly enjoyable movie.
What is?
I don't know. Murder on the Orient Express?
No.
The new one?
No. This is so much better than that.
I don't know.
Murder on the Orient Express, the new one, was boring as fuck.
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Boring.
Nevertheless.
Boring.
I think it's...
Kenneth Branagh can't make exciting movies since he made the first Thor movie.
Both great movies. Thor and Murder. Listen, I don't think that you can say a movie that's still in its theatrical run is the greatest anything of all time. How could you?
Somebody did.
Time needs to prove that.
Somebody said it. Wouldn't be in the trailer if somebody
Well, yeah,
hadn't
but
said it.
I mean, it's probably some dick on a podcast like this one. Probably me. I said it.
I did like the John Wick trilogy,
Yes.
but it's getting a little much now. I
haven't
think
seen the third one yet.
it gets a little much. At some point, you're going to start saying, "Man, they're just making stuff up at this point." Not that that the whole stylistic life of the assassin that that's doing all the stuff that he's doing, but he has to do all this stuff to keep going, and then you're like, "Hold on."
The first one was outstanding.
Yes.
It was it was basically after the first 10, 12 minutes, it was one long action set piece, which was great. I think it owes a lot to Mad Max.
I can't believe you went to see a movie and didn't tell me. The fuck? God.
You go see movies all the time and don't tell me. Like this Day of the Dead movie. It's not Coco. You didn't tell me you saw that.
I'm sure I did.
I didn't know you went to see Jumanji until after the fact.
Sean, you know you're going to make Sticky ruin Christmas next year, right? He's going to call you right before the Christmas show next year and just totally ruin it for us. and then that was a good line, though, wasn't it?
Oh, man. Anyway, here's... That's for Knives Out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
I'd
else you
give
got
this
on your favorite movies list? Who's doing their list right now?
I think we were at Neil. Neil was doing Marvel.
Yeah, I got like one
and James,
and then you
Sorry, man.
Marvel and James Bond, and then you took it over.
you went totally off, man.
I'm sorry.
If Casino,
That's why I went on. You were going
Sean
to ruin
just-
Christmas.
Just hurt me. That's all.
I have a,
Can't let it
I
go,
have a
man.
wife, man.
You can't.
We
you
go
can't
see
see
movies.
without Sticky, man.
Oh,
It's-
my God. No, I didn't want to go with him. I just wanted to know that he went.
Oh, okay. Well, we haven't really talked except yesterday when I was half asleep.
All right. Go on.
Rolled over and said good morning. I didn't tell him I saw the movie.
Please, Neil. Please continue.
If Casino Royale had been in the 2010s,
I would have.
it would have been on the list. It's
Yes,
the best of
definitely.
the new Bond.
Yes.
The last two are good.
When he's getting tortured by the Lashif and he's and the guy's hitting him in the testicle stuff really hard and he goes he starts laughing and he goes when they find you they're gonna say you scratched my balls.
I didn't like those. I didn't like that scene in particular, and I didn't like
I
Casino
respected-
Royale very much.
Really?
I grew a whole lot more respect for James Bond with that line because he took he's getting the crap beat out of him and he still takes the time to say you still scratch my balls.
Yeah,
bitch.
I know. He's too much of a tough guy for me. I like kind of like a Roger Moore kind of James Bond.
He kind of
Probably a Timothy Dalton fan.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're
I thought Casino Royale was a lot of card playing. It was like watching Texas Hold'em on TV.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, but that's, that just shows the intricacies of the spycraft. You have to know how to do anything.
What else you got, Neil?
let's see. That's gonna do it for me.
All right.
I really didn't. Everything I've seen. Is,
You
all-
love
it's all
superhero
Marvel
movies. You
and
like
Bond.
me, yeah.
It's all Marvel.
Batman v Superman.
No, I can't count that. I can't count that as actually a movie.
Next week, you do the worst shit of the past 10 years.
Well, I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping the new Wonder Woman movie doesn't suck,
That's going to be great.
and the new Aquaman movie is not going to suck. but
It's going to suck.
I am not putting any cards in on the new Batman. None.
Well, that's going to be good. Because
I think
Robert Pattinson, the Sparkly Vampire, is going to be a good Batman. Believe me.
I agree.
Well, I
think he
can't
is as well.
say that I have any faith in that because I didn't see any of the Kiss Me Vampire werewolf.
No, nor
thing.
have I. And that's
saw
good.
none
That's
of it.
why we're going to like him as Batman. Because we're not
That is
going to.
why I can't get into it.
But you never even
because-
watch those movies. That's
Which
what
is-
I'm saying. I never watched those movies either. So we can't hate this guy for something he did when he was a
Yes,
kid.
we can.
All right.
We can totally hate him for that.
That's unfair.
Sean,
That's prejudicial. You're prejudging him based on.
I think
on
it's
past-
funny that he's
on what he's done in
just
the
the
past?
fact that he glowed.
It's just like Heath Ledger being the Joker. When the sparkly vampire comes out in Batman suit, you're gonna be like, "Damn, he's badass." Who's doing it? Matt Reeves, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, shit, it's gonna be badass, dude. I guarantee
Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Come on.
it. Okay, maybe it won't be that badass.
Colin Farrell's a great actor.
Yeah, no, I like
He's a
him.
great actor.
I'm kidding.
And he's not afraid to make himself ugly.
He was great as Bullseye in the
If they're
Ben
not as
Affleck
good as
Daredevil
shown
movie.
up from The Last Dragon, I don't want nothing to do with it, man.
What do you think
'Cause
about Black Widow?
He had to glow.
You looking forward to Black
Yeah.
Widow?
I do want to see Black Widow.
Yeah.
I think that cast is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
You know, the Russian,
The family.
Russian family thing is going to be a very interesting dynamic.
All right, Sean.
All right. 2 honorable mentions: Pacific Rim and Edge of Tomorrow, both kind of about future wars.
I liked the porno version of Pacific Rimming and
Pacific
Edging
Rim.
of Tomorrow.
Yeah. Edge of Tomorrow's got Tom Cruise in it, and it's probably the only Tom Cruise movie that I would ever willfully see more than one time, except for Days of Thunder, which I'll watch whenever it's on.
Okay.
Number 10, Black Klansman,
Yeah, that was on my list.
the return of Spike Lee to his Spike Lee-iness.
That's a great movie.
He's had a few in the past decade. Chirac was good, but Black Klansman was right up there among the greats. Blade Runner 2049. Didn't think I would like it. Loved it. Yeah, loved it more in retrospect even. Black Panther.
Yes.
Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I thought it was the best Star Wars since Empire Strikes Back.
It's a good movie, man.
Yeah, it's great, and man babies out there just need to chill the fuck
Star
out.
Wars fans are the worst fans.
They are.
They're the only people who hate their thing that they love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They hate Star Wars so much. Why are they Star Wars fans?
Yeah,
It started going left with Jar Jar Binks, man.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's
well,
true.
that's
They-
deserved.
That deserved.
yeah.
Although I don't have a
it
problem with
stayed
Jar Jar.
left with a few characters.
Jar Jar
and just
Binks is just like
some
an
of the choices
Ewok.
they made.
How's Jar Jar Binks any worse than Wicket the Ewok?
He's not.
So fine. Star Wars is for children. Let it be for children.
But if you can see a better
Except
Star Wars battle,
Jar Jar was a little more racist.
A
than
little
Wicked
bit more
the Ewok.
racist.
if you can see a better lightsaber battle on YouTube than you can in the movie.
Okay, fair enough.
Are you talking about the fat kid
Yeah.
in front of the green screen? All by himself? Oh man.
Oh, but speaking of Star Wars, The Mandalorian. Did you
Yeah.
watch the final episode of
yeah,
Mandalorian?
I did, and that's cracking that top 10.
Yeah, Mandalorian. That's something else.
One more
man.
season like this, and it will be.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How you doing, MJ?
I'm good. I almost got it.
Okay. Oh, good. She's working on hers. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Because I haven't seen a lot.
Star Wars: Last Jedi, Guardians of the Galaxy,
All right.
which I think is the most entertaining of the Marvel movies.
Very fun.
It's the most rewatchable in my mind
Agreed.
of the Marvel movies.
I liked part 2.
Part 2 was also good, but Part 1 was better.
Okay.
And I love me some Kurt Russell. I am wearing a Pork Chop Express
Uh-huh.
T-shirt from Big Trouble in Little China right now, but it was not
I
as
think
good
most
as the first
people
one.
agree with you. I'm
Yeah.
a part 2 kind of guy.
Well, you always have to be contrary.
I do.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Look at me and
I
Sean.
think that's number 5.
Why aren't we going
Yeah.
to movies together all the time?
We do we've been doing a movie together. We went and saw Star Wars at 9:40 in the morning
Oh yeah, on,
on
our
a
branch.
Sunday morning on our date.
That was so much fun.
Kingsman
Oh fuck yes, I forgot about the Kingsman.
is the number 4 movie of the decade.
Absolutely.
For me.
Oh
Kingsman
god damn, I watched
was
Kingsman.
just kind of like nothing else.
It was an homage to 60s James Bond
Yeah.
movies, but it was also a modern, action spy thriller.
Yeah, it was 60s James Bond combined with John Wick.
It was great. Yeah, Kingsman 2 not so much, but Kingsman 1
still liked it.
It was all right.
I still liked Kingsman 2. The
Little
scene
over the top.
Yes, because Kingsman was so subdued, and it's
Well, that's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
When you take a movie that's Gonzo and then you make
Yeah.
a sequel and make the sequel Gonzo to the Gonzo, it's a little bit.
I
much.
loved it. Belle says it's the only movie she can remember where after it was over, I looked over at her and said I absolutely loved that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm a very laid back guy.
I've seen Kingsman. I don't know how I forgot it because I've seen that movie 400 times. It should be
Yeah.
in my top 5.
Yeah. Attack the Block, which I've mentioned on here before. It's a sci-fi movie. Aliens invade London, and John Boyega, Finn from the Star Wars movies, is the main character. Jodie Whittaker, who is now the Doctor in Doctor Who, was also a main character in it. And it's a funny sci-fi action movie.
Okay.
And it's brilliant. John Wick, number 2. Loved the first John Wick, and that leads right into number 1 because I think John Wick is the assassin land-based version of this movie, and that it's all one action set piece. Mad Max Fury Road, number 1.
All right, I told you.
Without second place is way back. Mad Max Fury Road's, my mind, one of the top 5 movies ever made.
There you go.
And that's just me.
No one's going to argue with you.
Somebody will. Nobody in this room will.
What did you come up with, MJ, while we were doing our lists?
All right. I haven't seen
Tell me what was on my list first.
Mad Max Fury Road, John Wick. I can pretty much.
That's fine.
The number 2 movie. Okay.
Baby Driver.
Yeah, Baby Driver.
Baby Driver was quite good.
Yeah.
Drive with Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Not good.
Not as
Didn't
good.
like it.
Okay.
Not as delightful. Just because I'm a Zach Braff. I love Zach Braff. Wish I Was Here. I love that movie. I love it. I love it. Don't care.
Don't even know what it is.
Okay.
Dolly.
I'm sure it's great.
It's
Is it a sequel to Garden State?
No, but it's the same kind of. If you hated Garden State, you're gonna hate Wish I Was Here.
Is it
Fair
set
enough.
in the Garden State cinematic universe?
No, it's just a Zach Braff movie with Zach Braff and an awesome soundtrack.
The
'cause he
GSCU.
always does. I love his soundtracks.
Yes.
Dolly Parton.
That's why I don't like his movies, partially because of the soundtracks.
Dolly Parton, Coat of Many Colors. The Social Network.
Wait,
What?
that's from this decade?
Yes, Dolly Parton, Coat of Many Colors, the Christmas one that came out a few years ago.
It's on TV last night.
Yeah, I thought that was like 80 years old.
What are
The
you
song-
talking about?
No, it's a show.
I thought they made a movie out of that back in the 70s.
They might have, but this is the updated version of the little Dolly. She's sassy.
Oh my gosh, it's awful.
It's so
Is it a Hallmark movie?
good.
They
No, it's
showed
like
it. I saw it was
ABC.
on TV on ABC like 2 nights ago.
Oh, yeah. God, it's from 2015.
Boom. The Social Network. Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah.
So such a good movie.
That's so much
Such
fun.
A
It's
good
like watching a
movie.
video game.
Avengers. Logan.
Thank you. Listen to this.
I really
Look at
like
the influence
Logan.
I have on this girl.
Yeah. I can't believe none of you put this on there. I, Tanya. Hello.
Oh, yes, I, Tanya.
I, Tonya.
Definitely one of the best of the past
So
10 years.
fucking good.
Absolutely.
God, it's
There's just
so
so
good.
many. It's hard to remember.
And Tucker and Dale versus Evil is hilarious.
No,
That was right under the surface.
but Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, I thought was pretty fun. I'm serious. I enjoyed that.
I'm serious. Tucker and Dale is great.
Okay.
Tucker and Dale versus
There's-
Evil and Cabin in the Woods were right under the...
All these kids are just committing suicide.
Yeah.
It's these 2 rednecks, and they're the nicest people. And these kids think they're serial killers, and they end up like one of them literally throws himself into a wood chipper, you know,
Oh.
and Duck Dale or whichever is just like horrified, and he's like trying to explain. He's like, they are throwing themselves into wood chippers. They've got a suicide pact, so it's great.
Well,
It's great.
There you have it. There's our decade in review. If you think that we missed anything, well,
I'm sure we did.
you're
The words
wrong.
of decade.
Slap us back.
You don't.
I mean, Sticky obviously left off the Kingsman, so
We-
there's
we
been
covered-
other
Yeah,
stuff
there's
left
some
off, I'm
holes in
sure.
our theories. Believe me.
Nobody put the Irishman on their list. If you're
Nope.
a diehard Irishman
yeah,
fan,
probably didn't make the list for me. But anyway, yeah, seriously, I don't know. Go to Facebook, whatever. But
Slap us back.
I've got a dad joke.
All right.
So let me find my thing here and dad jokes. They don't seem funny to normal folks. This was the best dad joke of the 2010s.
okay.
It came out in 2013. It is called The Deaf Italian Bookkeeper. And I may have read this on the show
Sounds
before. I
good
don't
to
know.
start.
All right, here we go.
Not Irish.
Yeah,
That makes me happy.
Anybody playing the accordion in the background?
If there's I should get some Italian music on the background. If there's any thing, my dad is like Tosh.0,
All right.
can make fun of himself as well.
He's an equal opportunity racist.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
He's even against himself.
He loves making fun of Italians is his favorite thing. All right.
I think making fun of Irish and women is his favorite thing. But
A mafia godfather finds out his bookkeeper Guido has cheated him out of $10 million.
Yeah.
His book
liking it so far.
Yeah.
His bookkeeper is deaf. That was the reason he got the job in the first place. It was assumed that Guido would hear nothing, so he could not have to testify in court. When the godfather goes to confront Guido about his missing $10 million, he takes along his lawyer who knows sign language. The godfather tells the lawyer, ask him where the money is. The lawyer, using sign language, asks Guido, where's the money? Guido signs back, I don't know what you're talking about. The lawyer tells the Godfather, he says he doesn't know what you're talking about. Godfather pulls out a pistol, puts it to Guido's head and says, ask him again or I'll kill him. And I'll do it. And then, hey, ask him again or I'll kill him.
Oh, God, no. Why?
Good. So your Italian gangsters are from Transylvania.
Ask him again or I'll kill him. The lawyer signs to Guido. He'll kill you.
Ask him again and I'll kill you.
Guido didn't understand the gun to his head, he needed sign language.
Yes.
Like, okay.
He'll
That's
kill you if you don't tell him.
universal.
Guido trembles and signs back, okay, you win. The money's in the brown briefcase buried behind the shed at my cousin Bruno's house. The Godfather asks the lawyer, what did he say? The lawyer replies, he says, you don't have the balls to pull the trigger.
Because he's going to go get the
lawyer.
money.
Yeah, it's quality.
I couldn't fuck a gorilla.
Quality. Couldn't fuck a gorilla for that one. Yeah.
You don't have the balls to get the money.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
No, it's
I mean,
not
to shoot him.
pretty good.
I mean, the lawyer is going to go steal the
Right,
money
we-
is what's
we-
going to
we don't-
happen
yeah,
next. That's why that's funny.
Sean, anything?
Yeah, mine's a classic.
All right.
Mine is a classic. Today at the bank, an old lady asked me to help her check her balance. Turns out it wasn't very good because when I pushed her over, she fell.
Oh, God.
I get it. Because her balance is not her checking balance, but the way she's her
Yes.
inner ear,
Yeah, thanks.
her balance. That's why that's funny.
Mine is more of a...
You're like the Penn and Teller of dad jokes.
Mine's more of an inspirational kind of thing. You know, like a poster you'd hang in your office.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So it's Oscar the Grouch
Yeah.
wearing aviators. And it says, just because you were trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot.
That was so terrible, I think you gave me cancer.
And that's how our decade ends, folks.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
It's not called a garbage. You can't.
It's called a garbage show. And that's it.
That is it.
Neil, thanks. You got a dad joke?
No, I don't. I don't think
You
I want
never
to.
do. You are a dad. Why don't you just tell us any joke
Yeah,
and that
any-
automatically makes it a dad joke?
I don't want to end the decade on a low note. So
On a lower note than that?
Could we get lower?
It's.
than
I'm
last
not
time?
I
sure.
think we can. You want me to try?
No.
All right.
Your hair looks nice.
All right.
you.
Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and follow us on Podbean. And if you're the 1,000th follower on Podbean, you will win a fabulous prize, which I will tell you what that is later.
I will say I've enjoyed doing this stuff with you guys as we wrap up the decade.
Well, let's hope that we
MJ,
can.
you're cool.
Thanks. You're pretty cool, too.
Sean, your dick.
Yeah,
Sticky.
it's fair.
Stop it, man.
Damn it.
No, man, you're good. You're good.
Get back on the sugar stick.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy,
Happy
New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy 2020. This is MJ and the boys. Now that's a tasty cup of meat.